Alright, this video is on how to make a different type of optical illusion. This one's going to be a little bit more geometric. For this one I'm going to use a Sharpie, but you are welcome to use a pencil in case you mess up. I'm using Sharpie so you can see it better on the screen, and you'll also need a ruler. So I'm really just focusing on one rectangle, and I'm going to take and make a triangle in that rectangle. Now I like to be able to see the lines. Luckily we have clear rulers, which helps. But I rotated my paper so I can kind of see the distance a little bit better. So I can see the distance of my first line from my next line, because I want the spacing to be equal. Alright, so there's my first section. So this one's going to kind of look similar to a descending twirling staircase, but maybe a little bit more abstract than that. So whenever I first start drawing my lines, they're going to be fairly spread apart, but as I get towards the center, they're going to start to get closer together. So I want to make sure that I'm very controlled with how far apart my lines are. Alright, so I have those two areas. Now I'm going to go over to these other corners. Now how you draw your triangles really doesn't matter. This one doesn't look like this one. They do not have to be symmetrical. Alright, so I got one more area to do before I start on my second layer. Alright, so if you notice, I tried to keep the distance between my lines, the spacing, the same in this kind of, I'm going to call this a layer, okay? Now I'm going to go more internal here into the interior, and so that means it's actually going to start, we want it to look like it's getting further away from us. As it goes towards the center, it's getting further away. So this is going to be a layer where I'm going to start decreasing the space between my lines just slightly. I'm not going to do it too much too quickly, because then I'll run into trouble as far as spacing goes. I won't be able to draw lines that are far apart. So the spacing here is a little bit thinner than the spacing there. All right, I'm going to go up here. Now where I go with this is really not determined. It's really just kind of improvised. Nothing is exact on this one, so I'm just kind of looking at it and going where I feel as far as my next section. Another thing is make sure that your lines are parallel to each other, that they're all going in the same direction. I might do just a little one right here, just because. Alright, so I think that now I'm going to start with my next layer. So this is layer 1, this is layer 2, so we're getting even further into our little staircase. So this is starting layer 3, so I need to make sure that my lines are even closer together now, but just slightly. So if I did another one, I would overlap this, so I feel like I'm going to be starting my next layer again. Another thing to notice is that my shapes are getting smaller as I go in too. So as I'm going in, I'm making sure my shapes are getting smaller. All right, so this is layer 4, so I need to make the lines a little bit closer again. So this is what I have so far. All right, so I'm going to continue on and I'm going to fill this up. Okay, so I have filled my rectangle. As you can see, I kept going further and further in. Every time I started a new layer, my lines got closer and closer together to the point where I got down here and it was just really just black. My lines are so close together, it just completely turned in. So try it.